Howdy folks, how we going? Welcome to the brewery once again. Brew day. Today I'm brewing a West Coast IPA. Just a small, well, about a 12 litre batch on the Robo Brew slash Brewzilla. This is actually a trial of the recipe that will likely be getting brewed out at Bulla Creek. This is a revision, well, not so much a revision, but it's come about from the recent red IPA, which I'm going to sit down and actually do. When I finish this video, I'm going to sit down and do an actual tasting on that red IPA, and I'll sort of explain a little bit more detail about what's going on here. But anyway, this video today is going to be a little bit different than what you're used to seeing. Mainly because I haven't really done any video. I've taken photos as I've gone through the day. Just sort of trying just doing something a little bit different. I know the that brew day video from Bulla Creek was reasonably well received when it was just photos. We didn't have the footage. But today just playing around a little bit. But anyway, so what we've got today, West Coast IPA. I said 12 litre batch. I'll get the recipe back up as I'm in the middle of brewing. I can get that bloody thing off there. Yeah, throw me. Righto. So what I've done, start off with me water this morning, about 22 litres thereabouts. I was actually, because for 22, I actually went about 20, so a little bit under. So I've got a little bit to add back in at the end if I need to. I treated that with some calcium chloride, a little bit of sodium metabisulfate to get rid of chlorine. Then let that water sit for about an hour. Well, I ducked down the street, did a couple of things, got me some lunch and whatnot, got the shopping done. Come back, water was preheated, warmed up while I was gone, so it was up to mash temperature when I got back, which was, mash temperature was 63, so at that point I added the rest of my chemicals, some calcium salt, calcium chloride, a bit of gypsum and some Epsom salts to get the water treated, a bit of lactic acid for the pH, and I brought the actual temperature of the water up to 66 degrees while I was getting the grain ready. Grain for this fella is our main base malt is Voyager Atlas, which is basically a Pilsner malt. Lager malt is on the sort of higher end of the scale as far as colour goes. It's 53 and a bit % of the grain bill. I've got Compass again, which is also Voyager. It's about 29%. That's more of your pale ale malt. And I use those to just give a balance. I find, as I do with a lot of my brews, I quite often will split the balance of the malt between, you know, Pilsner and a grain malt. It's just the thing I like to do, and I think it tends to work. Bit of Voyager Schooner, about 17% of the grain bill, and some roast barley, about 0.5%, just a tiny little bit of roast barley, just for a little bit of colour, and yeah, really probably an insignificant amount of flavour, but it's gonna work. And again, tie this in with the red IPA video with the tasting, you'll see where we're going there. And that unique malt is to bring up just some base malt character, get a little bit of extra depth into the brew. So we're going for West Coast IPA. So measured grains, got them milled up. As I said, we had mash water at 66 degrees to allow for the drop to 63, so I mashed in. That brought our mash temp down to 64, so I returned the rubber brew back to a 63 degree setting. Let it run for 40 minutes. With the new bottom screen in the malt pipe, and after 10 minutes I gave it a stir, took a pH read, just checking where we were. pH was a little higher than I would have liked, so I just had to adjust it a little bit with some lactic to get it down. Got it down to about 5.5 on the pH for the mash. I was happy with it to be there. Yeah, let that run for 40 minutes. After 40 minutes, raised the temperature up to 75 degrees. Switched off the 1500, switched off the 500 watt element, so just run the 1900 element. So it's just a little bit softer coming up the temperature, so it took a little bit longer to get from that 63 to the 75. Want to just spend a little bit of time in those high 60s and low 70s, just building some nice, yeah, it's nice protein and sugars for a bit of head retention and some, yeah, a little bit of more flavour development. Gravity reading at that time was on par with what we're aiming for. Was looking good. Volumes were pretty good. So let it run to the end of the boil. Pull the mash pipe and let it drain. I said it was at full volume, so there was no sparging at all. As I said, I did hold back 2 litres because the original thought was to drop that through the wort, but I didn't worry. We've free circulated the whole time, should be fine. Another refrac check there on its way to a boil. Bang, we're on target. We're on target for gravity. We're on target for volume. So let it run. 30 minutes into the boil, I dropped in 16 grams of Magnum, which is our bittering charge. Let that go for 15 minutes, which was only about, we were about 8 minutes ago now. Dropped in some yeast nutrient and some well flock, leaving it do its thing. Then let it continue to boil. This will boil through to, for now, I think about another 7 minutes. I'm going to run air cooling on this as I've done on a previous batch. If you want to see what how the air cooling works, go back to the last 2 brew day videos. You might have been the New Zealand Pilsner, and I'm not sure what the other brew day was. If you go back, but there is a little bit of touching on the process, but basically, again, it's another absolutely crappy day outside. It's raining, it's cold, and I've got to run around the back of the house to get my cooling hoses and stuff with my chiller, and I really can't be bothered fucking around with it. So I'm going to do the air cooling. Works really well on these half batches where it's not quite the volume, but anyway, I will drop the temperature down to about 95 degrees, just knock a few degrees off. I'll drop in some Whirlpool hops. That will be some Chinook, 15 grams and 14 grams of Columbus hops. The Magnum hops are going to give me 28 IBU, the Chinook's going to give me 12, 14 from the Columbus, and that's our hops. Then we're talking dry hop. So once that's got to 94, hops in, let it sit for 20 minutes. Won't touch it, then I'll come back and I'll continue with the cooling. I assume we're going to drop some degrees for the end. I'm gonna have a look what that is when it's there. Once she's cooled, I will transfer into the fermenter. I'll be able to just use my little fermenter King Jr. and I will pitch 1 packet of BRY97. Expected or target gravity on this fella, original gravity is 1059 at 12 litres. For me, ideally I'll be pitching a little more than this, but as I said, this is a trial for what potentially will be brewed out at Bulla Creek. Out there on the last batch we ran a what was it? It was about 75, but about 0.75 grams a litre, 0.8 grams a litre on the pitch. So I'm running close to that. That's to keep in line with how pitching runs out there, and that's simply because out of Bulla Creek, that pitch on about 170 litre batch is 1/4 of a 500 gram brick, which just works really nice for the brewers out there. So that's generally the pitching rate they go with. Worked really well on that red IPA, so we'll go with that. So 1 pack of the BRY97 will drop on that. I will ferment at 19 degrees and we'll dry hop 17 grams of Galaxy. Now let me just check the actual measures. 1.4 grams a litre of Galaxy. About day 4. Day 5 I will drop in 1.8 grams a litre Chinook and 1.2 thereabouts of Eclipse. They will sit for 2 days. Then we're looking to cold crush. So short contact on those hops. Not a big amount. I don't want much coming from those dry hops. We're just using them to give a little bit of flavour background. But the focus is more on boil hops and to get that up front IBU and the bitterness we want from the West Coast. So target IBU is 54. So it's fairly mid-range. It's not high, but it's not low by any stretch. With 1059 ABV is probably a little on the light end. Well, it is on the lighter end of the scale, but again, certainly not slipping off the scale for standard American IPA. 6% ABV is our target. So that's her. Alright, that's telling me we're at the end of the boil. So I'm just going to go and switch that off and get into this, start prepping up for this hop stand. So that's where we're at. As always guys, any comments or any questions, stick them down the bottom. Patreons, thank you for your support. There's a link down the bottom, Patreon, if you're interested, check it out. Helps the channel, keeps me going, lets me do things. There's prizes and things that go along with it. If you subscribe to the channel, thank you very much. If you aren't, hit the subscribe button down there. Ring the bell. And if you like what's going on, give me a thumbs up. This is my Munich Hells, which has been out of the fridge for about 6 months, back on the keg fridge to finish it off. Showing its age a little bit, but it's still drinking all right. The rain's bloody settled back in again. I think the not playing around with the chillers gonna be a good idea. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. So until I see you again, We brewing beer, drinking beer, talking beer, good brewing.